You talked about the way they protect him. We've talked about some of the other dynamics of the Tampa Bay offense. Let's focus on tonight's game. When the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the football, you've mentioned the growth, the changes, the adjustments that were made throughout the 2020 season. Tonight, do you expect that he's going to pick up exactly where he left off from the standpoint of comfort in the offense?
I do. Just the way it looked in the preseason, especially that third preseason game against the Houston Texans, I think it's going to take off where it left off and then some. I really do, just because one, everybody's more comfortable, and I think he's able to digest more offense, knows more of the rules of the offense. So last year, how we talked about so much, where it was like, hey, let's protect them, and we know we can make the throws here. Look, they got an extra tackle in the game here. That's a 7-man protection. There's 3 men out in the routes. This is when they found their groove last year. If we protect this dude, he will throw strike after strike. And that's what he did at the end of the season, into the playoffs, and the Super Bowl. Here you go again. It's 6 linemen. And the back can protect if somebody else is blitzing, but he's got a 7-man protection, 3 people out in the route again. Again, people who talk about, well, Brady doesn't have a strong arm. What are you talking about? That was a 30-yard laser that never went above Mike Evans' chin. And that's where he's special. But I think where it takes off this year, Mike, is just I think you're going to see the offense even open up a little bit to where they're going to go, wait, he's comfortable now, and he'll know where to get the ball out of his hands if he gets pressure. So maybe we can get more of these 3 and 4 wide sets and open it up. I still think they'll protect him, but I think he'll have other answers too when teams do blitz him, and I think they're going to be scary. I don't think the Dallas defense has much of a chance tonight. I think it's just going to be, does Tampa Bay mess up every now and then to give Dallas's defense a chance?
I remember when Rob Gronkowski joined the Buccaneers last year, we thought it was inevitable that at some point O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, one of the two was going to be traded. Howard got injured week 4, so that kind of solved that issue. But now Howard's back. And they did all those great things last year without a guy who was a first-round tight end. And I know he's never fully and completely clicked the way that he was expected to coming out of Alabama, but still, he's back. And this is a new wrinkle that we didn't see as the Buccaneers really hit their stride last year. How do you expect to see him get worked into this mix now that he's healthy?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another personnel set that they can put you in a bind. They have an overpowering offensive line, like you and I discuss a lot, right? I mean, how many times last year at the end in the playoffs did we show plays where it's like, look, if they just block straight and let Leonard Fournette run behind and figure out where he wants to go, we'll just push everybody back and do that. They're still the same offensive line, and now, like you're talking about, you have 2 big bodies at tight end to where, yeah, they can impose their physical will that way, but then they can get into the Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski New England offense to where these are 2 guys that can split out. And now you got, your base defense in, and you're big and you're trying to stop the run. And now they split you out with Evans and Godwin and Howard and Gronkowski. And you go, oh, no, we're at a disadvantage here, the defense. We got all our big people on the field. And, Howard and Gronk can still run pretty good. Howard can really run. And I just think it's just another element that just makes this team scary. And that's why, talking to Drew Brees yesterday, we're in awe at times to go, and this is one of the most talented, if not the most talented offense Brady's ever been in.
And when you think back to what the Patriots could do when they had the 2 tight ends who were extremely versatile, tie it back to the comment that was made by Mike Evans recently about no huddle, more no huddle this year. When you have guys that you can move around at will, you catch the defense in a bad group of 11 for what you want to do when it's time to go pedal to the metal, and you just keep going, and you move them around, and you press it harder, and you move this guy here, and they can't – what can they do? Call timeout at some point or throw in the towel, because when you have that kind of versatility, that's where you can go into your no-huddle offense, and before you know it, it's touchdown.
Exactly right. They're going to be able to apply pressure on you in so many different ways. And then that point you make, that comfort in the offense. Last year, we've heard Brady say they'd break the huddle, and he was still thinking about the play as he was walking to the line of scrimmage. That's a huge disadvantage for a quarterback. That's like being a rookie in some ways. That's the things that I went through as a rookie in John Gruden's offense. Break the huddle. He told me to play. Yes, I said the play right in the huddle for one of the few times that I did that. And then now I'm trying to figure out where everybody's going. That's a hard way to play quarterback, in a chaos game that you got to make split-second decisions. Brady's not. He's going to be a machine in the offense this year. And then, yes, with them being able to add more offense and more creativity and personnel sets, that's where it's really scary as far as what they can look like on the offensive side of the ball. And, Mike, I mean, it's the Dallas defense where, yeah, I think it's going to be better, but I don't know how much better it'll be, and I expect him to pick them apart tonight.
Can't be much worse than it was last year. Dan Quinn brings the Seattle scheme into Dallas. And we've talked about this in the past, and I'm curious as to whether your thoughts have changed at all. I just think they have to throw caution to the wind. They have to try anything and everything, kitchen sink, die quickly or slowly, take quick death and hope that your offense can match from a point standpoint. Get into a shootout. Let's have 41-38 right out of the gates. Let's hope it's still close late. But you have to trust that the offense is going to do its part, but I think the defense has to be willing to take some chances in order to get one of those moments where Tom Brady coughs up the ball, they get an interception, flip the field, break serve, tennis match. Just break serve once or twice and hope your offense can hold serve all game long.
I totally agree with you, Mike, 100%. You got to do some different looks and take some calculated chances here and there. Now, you can't just go totally crazy because then he's gonna just absolutely bombard you with big plays and big throws and the right checks. But like what I'll think about with Dan Quinn, the first half of Super Bowl 51, right, against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, that's what caught Brady and the Patriots off guard. It was a lot of the same scheme, but they gave a lot of different looks and different ways to do it to where Brady and the Patriots had a hard time early on figuring out what the hell was going on. But what happened? The second half, they ran out of tricks in Atlanta, and Brady settled in. And the other thing I always go to is like, yes, Dan Quinn, I think he's going to improve this defense. But, man, Brady's played this defense and Dan Quinn in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 49. He played it, of course, with the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl. He had Jacksonville in the AFC Championship game, which runs the same defensive scheme. The Chargers in a divisional playoff game. He has great understanding of the scheme in general, let alone he played Atlanta last year, who ran the same scheme. So that's where if they just say status quo Seattle defense, good night. They're going to get torn apart. They got to do something, you're right, to give them an edge, but they just can't go overboard. It's got to be calculated risk, and that's something we'll definitely have our eye on tonight.
As he said after Super Bowl 51, you can't show me anything I haven't seen, and that's the challenge. How do you come up with only 11 guys to deploy? How do you come up with something that can confuse and confound Tom Brady? And the one thing that has worked over the years, pressure specifically up the middle. He can move around and escape as it comes at him from the left and right end.
Yeah, he's great there.
Straight up the middle, that's where there's a problem, and I think that's where the Cowboys defense needs to overload its resources in an effort to break that dam before he spots a guy and fires one of those 30-yard lasers that's hovering 6 feet off the ground. So,
right.
Look, I want to give the Cowboys a chance because I want the game to be exciting. And this could be another one of those where tomorrow when we're having this conversation, we're like, well, I should have seen that coming. Man, I should have seen that coming. Who knows what we're going to find out tonight. But it sure seems like the Buccaneers, with everyone back and Brady more comfortable, will be gaining yards and scoring points. And the only thing the Cowboys can hope for is to match them and maybe get lucky and take the ball away in one moment.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.